welcome back to my channel. If you're a return viewer, you might have seen that I've tried to zhuzh up my intro a bit. I just wanted to add a quick explanation. I just wanted to sort of feature a bit more why I'm doing this. This is all sort of part of my publishing journey, venture, you might call it, because the books that I'm writing on this channel, I'm publishing under my imprint Wollschweber Publishing. So I just wanted to make it a bit more obvious what this is all for. But welcome to my currently inked for August. It has a tentative theme. I've decided I have two pens that I'm not going to be including because they're part of my current manuscript adventure where I'm writing one manuscript completely in purple ink. And they're basically they've done their duty in the manuscript, and I have like drops left, and I just want to write them dry in my diary, and then they're going to be gone. And hopefully I can do that in the next day, so I'm not counting them for August. But I'm going to have 8 like specifically inked for August, and yeah, it's not that obvious a theme, but you might be able to guess it, let's say. This is a lovely card that I received from friends of mine who came to stay when they were on holiday, and I just love this card, so I'm using it as a blotting paper. It's also gone very hot again, and even though it's sort of early, I'm already really sticky, so I definitely need the blotting paper. And yeah, we're starting off with grey. I've had this ink for the longest time. I've used it for artwork and such, but I haven't actually put it in a pen until now. And one of my things that I really want to be quite stringent about is if I buy a bottle of an ink, I really want to put it into a pen like in the next few months or so. I don't really want to have sort of vast untapped resources, if you will, that are just sitting there. I mean, grey is such a wonderful ink anyway. I knew that before, and because I've used it with my glass tip pen, I was quite sure that I would like it anyway, and the pen I've paired it with, it works beautifully. I've actually re-inked that pen already, so it might be sort of on its last refill, and then I'm going to switch. But I'm going to use a little pipette. I have some water and an ink rag, and we can do 4 per page, so I'm going to be a bit generous. And today what I'm going to, usually I use the bottle of a diamine, like the cap for diamine bottle. This time around I want to use the little screw top of a Jacobin bottle and see what that does. Is there any difference? It's not as glidey as the plastic. Oh, and I think I went a bit big. Okay, we need to be a bit more mindful of space. And I put grey in my Pilot Elite with a fine nib. I bought this at the Cheltenham Pen Show, and basically this was old new stock, and that is the pen that was re-released as the E95S. And yeah, I have not regret buying this. I'm actually have ordered the Jinhao dupe just to see how it compares, and also because this one I wouldn't put in a pen loop really. With the dupe, I would happily do so. So I'm going to slant it a bit because otherwise, yeah. Okay, so this is Earl Grey. Oh, I should put diamine. And this is in my, let's do it a bit funky, Pilot Elite. This is the black and gold. This has a fine nib. And this is, oh, it's actually an 18 karat fine nib. It's my second gold nib pen, and I absolutely adore it. I know that this is basically called like an entry-level gold nib pen, and I totally agree. The fine nib is quite fine, so what I've actually done is I've ordered the Jinhao in an extra fine to see how that compares. And I might follow that up with like another one in fine if the extra fine is too fine, but I'm hoping to replicate this nib with the extra fine. Okay, and basically to have like a, let's say like a stunt double for the Pilot Elite. So this is the first one, and I'm swatching in a blank Hobonichi notebook with Tomoe River paper. Okay. The next ink I've actually used up here, and it's the bottle that I'm doing the little swatches with, and it's Jacobin Bleu Azur, and actually this is quite a dry ink. I had another pen before. At the moment it's in my Shelly pen, which is a dense pens, the Neptune model, and it's an abalone resin, and it has this blue that matches really well. And in the stub nib it works okay, but it's not as, it could be juicier, let's say. So I'm like, this is definitely one of those light inks that is quite dry. Or maybe that's just my experience so far, but I'm certainly going to be careful how I pair it. I've gone big again, okay. Somehow we'll make it work. And I think what I'm going to do this way, and then, yeah, let's see. I might have to squidge in some of the information. Can you see it? Okay. So this is Jacobin Bleu Azur. And this is in my dense pens. Yeah, it's a Neptune model. It has, it's the Shelly, it's its name, and it's in a 1.1 stub. I'm going to do this here. Yeah, absolutely works wonderful in this pen, and just picks up on this blue. That's what I wanted to do. And it's just a very summery color as well. Right, okay, we're going to move over here. So I'm going to need to decide where I'm putting stuff. The next one, it's a very summery, even though it's named after a flower that's flowering a bit earlier in the year. It's Aura and Klingner's Blue-Eyed Mary. I've seen this in quite a few people's summer lineup, and that made me think about including it too. So that's what I'm doing. Put it up here. And I always think, I mentioned that before, that this ink doesn't really come across on screen as it actually looks. It doesn't come across as teal as it looks to me. Maybe that's just me, how I see it, but It's also because I think I usually write on cream paper, and this obviously is white paper, so that might have something to do with that too. And I've paired this one with my Sailor Progress Slim in it's a Shikiori Hazura, that's the one. Sorry. Basically spring sky. It's not quite on point for the season, but I think, again, that's a nice summary. So this is Aurora and Klingner. Let's push the cat out a bit. Blue-eyed Mary. And this is in my Sailor Progress Slim Shikiori Hausora. And this has a medium fine 14K nib. And this was my first gold nib pen, and I'm really still loving it. I'm quite careful with this pen, even though I've started to take it out of the house a bit. And basically the Jinhao 82s are the stand doubles for this one, even though they can't come close to the nib experience, but that's fine. Okay, next one is an ink that I bought at the Cheltenham Pen Show. It's one of the UK Pen Show inks, and that's Waterloo Sunset. And this is manufactured by KWZ Inks or KWZ Inks. They're located in Poland, and their inks are famous for having a very distinctive sweet smell to them. Lots of people describe it as vanilla. I would describe it as cookie dough. And this, if I could find my, like this is the one thing that happens every time I'm putting down the pipette and it vanishes, but I found it just now. Just rolled off the table, which is sort of typical. Okay. And this is an ink that reminds me a bit of Diamine Autumn Oak, but it's a bit redder. And this is the ink that I just inked up this morning. Basically the freshest pen in the bunch. Oh, I think I dropped some orange into the Blue-Eyed Mary. I actually quite like these little accidents. They always make for fantastic color combinations. Right, and I've put this one in my Jinhao 20. This is the rose gold and jade colorway, I think. But yeah, don't really have any golden Jinhaos. Okay, so this is the, let's get this right, KWZ plus UK Pen Shows Waterloo Sunset. This is in the Jinhao 20, jade rose gold with a fine nib, and it's my only Jinhao 20, and I think I'm good with just one of them. But this is a really lovely writer, really quite wet. I like this better than the one Jinhao 10 that I have. There was a time when I used this a lot, and then I put it, like cleaned it, I put it aside and not really used it. So I thought it would be a good month to get back into the rotation. And I actually quite enjoy the contrast of the jade green and the lovely orange. I'm not really someone who totally must match their pens and their inks. That's not really a big concern of mine, but I quite like if I can do it, to be honest. Right, you go there. Next ink up is, I think I'm going to snake around, is Robert Oster Copper. Another ink that I bought at the pen show. No, I think I need to. No. Okay. It will. I mean, what can be better than big blobs of ink? So it's going to come out okay. And this it's one of those reddish tones that Robert Oster does so well. And this ink was on my wish list for the longest time, and then there was a sale and I couldn't resist anymore. And it had been out of stock for a long time. So this is Robert Oster Copper, and this is in my black Robin pen, and this is the Grand Arial model, and the colorway is called Caffeine Withdrawal. So this is my coffee pen. And this has a medium Euro nib, and it's a really good one. It's a really smooth one. So this is I'd say this is one of my best writers. I'm currently undergoing like a bit of an adjustment where I'm actually using a lot finer inks. So this is at the moment is as large as I want to go. I mean, apart from the header colors and stuff. Right, getting more organized again. And the next one is an ink that is a holdover from my manuscript ink, but because it's in a TWSBI, I still have some left, and because I'm just going to use it a lot in August too. So, Jacobin Passé de Lune. I have a 100 milliliter bottle, which is pretty bananas, but when I started to get back into fountain pens, I didn't think I would buy a million different inks. So actually I thought, oh yeah, let's get the biggest bottle that I can, because that will last me a while, was my thinking. And yeah, and then it got the competition heated up, so to speak. What I'm noticing is that with this little screw cap, I'm sputtering more, but that's fine. So this is, how did it do it there? Check. What I noticed with this TWSBI, it's a TWSBI root beer in it with a fine nib, that I have to, actually I can't anymore. This is, so it's already twisted as far as I can go, but I had to prime the nib from time to time. This is the SB Eco Root be a bronze in a fine nib. And I think I want to try the extra fine, but I don't think I will go into the bronze and into the broad nib. I think that's a bit too much for me, because already with the medium, with a really juicy medium nib, you can see that it's already starting to get a bit smeary, to be honest. So that's sort of what I'm thinking. Right, not get confused. The next one is a Pannonia ink, and this is called Twilight or Akonyat. I'm not speaking Hungarian, so I'm going to butcher it. I'm just doing my best here. I'm just going to put this here, I think. And this is the ink that I have in mind when I'm thinking of a periwinkle, to be honest. I've been on the hunt for a periwinkle for the longest time, and this is the one. You see what I mean about spattering? It's everywhere. That is the one that I'm really enjoying. It's also quite bright and quite legible. Okay, and I have this in my Hongdian C1 with a hooded nib, and only comes in a few colors. I chose the yellow colorway because it's really jolly and it's a lovely contrast to the periwinkle. Again, going for contrast instead of some sort of complementary, or yeah. Although I think the thing is, contrast colors are complementary colors. So it's a contrast / complementary versus matching colors. And the ink is a tiny bit drier than I had hoped, but it still works really well. So Twilight. This is in my DNC1, and yellow with a fine nib, and this is quite a fine nib. I think because it is so fine, I was a bit spooked, let's say, in the beginning, to trying not to go into the extra fine direction, but yeah, I think we're going there now. And the very last one I have in this lineup is Dominant Industry Sunset. I don't know whether you can see the theme developing. And this is the only shimmer ink of the bunch. I have discovered that I love shimmer inks, but for how I use them, they're not that practical. So I'm really trying not to buy too many shimmer inks at the moment. That might change. And I certainly love Sunset. It's an extremely beautiful ink. It has sort of a rose goldy shimmer and some chroma shading, so it's amazing. But I think in the past I was very taken captive by by the shimmer element, and not by what the base color looks actually what it's like. And I think I've gathered more experience, let's say, and this base color is lovely. Dominant Industry Sunset, and this is in my Mahjong Bankai or Wansai. in a fine nib as the demonstrator. Okay, we somehow made it work. It's all on there. So yeah, I'm going to let this dry and then come back to you. This has taken ages to dry. Even though it's so warm, there's still like these splotches are still a bit wet, but we're just going to go ahead with it. So we have Diamine Earl Grey, and I think on the Tomorrow River paper, like, you just see how wonderful it is and how many shades of grey are coming out here. And also in the Bleu Azur, you get some pinkish shades, which I've never seen before. I've not really, I don't think I've, I must have swatched it this big before, but this looks amazing. Then let's go over here, the Blue-Eyed Berry. It still looks a bit teal. It's not really the flower that they base it on, I think, but it's still beautiful. Then we have the Waterloo Sunset. Yeah, you see sort of the more reddish tones here. Yeah, in Diamine, Autumn Oak, these sort of are not quite as vibrant. Then Copper, which looks quite light here compared to how it flows out of the pen, but I think I tried not to make the swatch too big, so I just smeared it like very thinly, so that's why. Passé de Lune, one of the inks I've had the longest, and has some lovely black, almost black haloing. Then Pinonia, Arconia, or Twilight, with the lovely pinkish undertones as well, and the lovely shading. I really love this ink. And then, oh, that's still a bit wet, we have Dominant Industries Sunset, like one of my favorite shimmer inks. Has a bit of shimmer transfer, but it's not too bad. A sort of rose goldy shimmer, and also with some haloing. And I think in the Mahjong, it's actually coming out quite well. So I'm trying to line up the pens without getting them into... This one doesn't have a roll stop, so try to do it like this. I might have to wipe this off later, but yeah, there you have it. 8 colors for August. Yeah, I knew that will happen. It's just very fiddly. Stay put. Doesn't want to. Okay, wants a friend. And yeah, I've sort of knocked the camera a bit. I'm sorry. Yeah, there you have it. That's my August currently inked, and obviously I'm going to do a review later, let you know how it went. But some of them I've had in pens a tiny bit longer, and I've already know that I really like them, and some, like Waterloo Sunset, I've just inked up. I'm so glad you're here and part of my journey, and then I'll see you soon. Just realized I never really announced the theme of my currently inked. I think it was because when I was filming the wrapping up after everything dried, I heard my neighbor in the garden. I got really self-conscious about filming while he was out there. So, ta-da! This is the theme of my August currently inked. So they're all sort of sky colors, and the inks have very sort of light themed blue azure and sunset and twilight and Waterloo Sunset. So yeah, they have like quite light themed names. Sorry for shaking. I'm just holding the camera now and wrapping this up.